there was a point where me, him, and Ryder, I want to say, we're all sitting in the back together. And, we're all talking, and, this is before we're picked on teams. And, he's like, hey, Ryder, you're a cool dude. We've talked. And he's like, Bryan, we know each other, but, you guys are great people. But if we fight each other, I'm going to knock you out. And it's just like, as a man, it's just like, bro, don't tell me you're going to knock me out, bro. I'm going to knock you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least that's my attitude with this. So.
Bryan, February 5th, you're taking on Tresean Gore, fellow Tough 29 participant. What did you learn about Gore, mostly, living with him inside that house?
In all honesty, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could, make this big statement and, I learned so much. He was on the other team, and just based on our training schedules, the amount of time that I actually was able to spend with him was pretty minimal. I mean, granted, we had some times, the show didn't do him justice. He can actually sing pretty well. You know what I'm saying? That little clip of us having a jam session in the back, you know what I'm saying? The man can carry a tune pretty solidly. I'd say better than anyone else in the house. You know what I'm saying? He's a really considerate guy when he wants to be. You know what I mean? But probably the biggest thing I learned is he does kind of like to play those little mental games. You know what I'm saying? Where he's going to come in and, act like he's your buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like try to, hey, we're cool. But also I'm going to knock you out. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not what you say to your buddy. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely something I noticed and I always thought was kind of funny. You know what I'm saying?
Was it just what the house kind of turned people into, maybe? Is those mind games, or is it just, do you think, his personality?
No, because he literally came on the bus, like before we even got picked on teams, you know what I'm saying? Because we've known each other from before. So, he's like, hey, man, and there was a point where me, him, and Ryder, I want to say, we're all sitting in the back together. And, we're all talking, and, this is before we're picked on teams. And, he's like, hey, Ryder, you're a cool dude. We've talked. And he's like, Bryan, we know each other, but, you guys are great people. But if we fight each other, I'm going to knock you out. And it's just like, as a man, it's just like, bro, don't tell me you're going to knock me out, bro. I'm going to knock you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least that's my attitude with this. So, granted, we never had to fight each other in the house. And then when we did get matched up, unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the fight, which was too bad. But, hopefully February 5th, everything goes as planned. And, we're going to have a good time.
After, the fight never happened and it's going to happen. But after the fight was announced the first time, after you guys faced off, was there any changes in your interactions with them, or did you not even have any interactions?
Honestly, it's one of those things where I like to keep business. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing emotions into a fight, it's going to happen sometimes. But if I can just see him as another person as much as possible, just another person who's in the way of my goals, it's really more of how I look at it. This is like just another mission I have to accomplish to get to my overall goal. So, that's kind of how I'm approaching it. You know what I'm saying? Like no, we haven't talked to each other a ton. You know what I'm saying? He messaged me. I messaged him after I heard that he got hurt. I was like, hey man, sorry you got hurt. He messaged me back, you know what I'm saying? But overall, it's not like we're talking all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he's there. We're friends on social media, but that's not a friendship I'm interested in developing until February 6th.
When you take all that away, you look at his skill set. What do you see?
Skill set, I mean, let's go with the eye test first. You know what I'm saying? Just stating the obvious, fast, explosion, athleticism, you know what I'm saying? Sharp hands, fat, kicks with there's no tell to his kicks. You know what I'm saying? When he throws a kick, if you're not prepared for it, that shit's going to land every time. With that being said, he does several things very, very well, but outside of those several things that he does very, very well, he hasn't showed a whole lot of layers to his game. And, in his pro career, there's not a huge sample size of his fighting, but we're gonna see how he does when he has to fight off of his back foot. We're gonna see how he has to do when someone's not respecting his hands like everyone else has been respecting his hands. Well, I should say I'm respecting his hands, but I'm not afraid of his hands. That's really what I should say. My hands are gonna be up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be looking to move my head to avoid as much damage as possible, but it's not something I'm gonna be afraid of. I'm not gonna look to avoid contact the whole fight. I'm looking to start a fire and both of us be in the fire and see who can handle the heat the longest. You know what I mean?
That inexperience, it's something that shines a lot. You know what I mean? He's only had 3 professional fights, and you said that he does a few things well. Not being able to test the other aspects of his game, is that gonna be something to your advantage?
Uh, you know, even if he had kind of rounded out the other aspects of his game, I just feel like a better fighter right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Tresean. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was going against a D1 wrestler this week, I feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? If I was going against, a glory kickboxing champion, someone who Muay Thai champion, someone who won IBJJF Worlds, you know what I'm saying? I just feel confident right now, regardless, wherever it goes. So, with that being said, it's something where I know what he likes to do, and it's something where I've taken note of that, but it's not something I'm like banking on. I'm training, assuming that he's gotten better, that he's added to his repertoire, that he's going to come out and try to surprise me with a few things, and so I'm prepared for that if that happens. But if he hasn't, if he has stayed exactly the same, then yeah, he's going to have a lot of problems in a lot of different areas.
On the show, you're around the champion, so you've been exposed to the championship mentality. You're training with a lot of high level guys, coaches. What can you carry the most from the show that will be important for you moving forward with your UFC career?
It was such a blessing being on Volk's team, dude. I mean, he really showed the difference between, someone who's really, really good in the top 5 and what it means to be the champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was so professional. He working out like every day we're coming into training, both sessions, they're already all sweating because they've been, training before we got there. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't even include the work that they were doing with us, you know what I'm saying, when we were training. So, dude, Volk was such a great example, you know what I'm saying? And just being able to talk to him and pick his brain, fight IQ things, talk to Coach Uncle Joe, you know what I'm saying, who was the guy who built Volk, talk to Craig Jones, you know what I'm saying, arguably the pound for pound best grappler in the world right now, with when leg locks are included, you know what I'm saying? So, freaking Frank, you know what I'm saying? Awesome wrestling coach, knows a lot of people, knows a lot of things, Woody, the strength and conditioning coach, there was so much knowledge on that team. It was crazy. And so, we were only there for a short amount of time, but you just can't help but to learn from great minds like that. It was such a blessing being out there. I can't even, you could spend a whole podcast just talking about different things I learned from each person. It was awesome.
After you were crowned the champion, the Ultimate Fighter champion, what were the key differences in your training once you got back home?
Well, one thing was, just the opportunities that were available to me, as far as time goes, time I could dedicate to training, I don't have to work a regular job anymore. You know what I'm saying? I can be a full-time fighter. It's crazy because, I won tough and I've been beating guys, but I've almost felt like I've had a handicap this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like I'm on the same playing field as everyone else, and it's scary, man. It's like I've gotten to like whole new levels since I've gotten back. You know what I mean? Just ability to just train and focus, and it's crazy because I thought I was working as hard as I could before, but I was just working as hard as I could with what I had. And now with what I got, the hard work has gone to a whole nother level, and I'm just excited to just show off. Just I've gotten better physically, stronger, faster. My technique is sharper. You know what I'm saying? My fight IQ is higher. My body's harder. My punches are, hitting more often. You know what I'm saying? Just all around. My grappling is, more destructive. It's just a good time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really excited to get back in the cage, man.
this fight was supposed to be the finals, but do you kind of feel like in a way that this is your title defense?
I like the way you put that. I like the way you put that. And yeah, because there's a lot of people. This is kind of almost like a little intercontinental title or something like that. There's a lot of people, who didn't go on the show, and they're like, "Well, if I was on the show, I would have won." I'm like, "Hey, well, I'm here, baby. If you wanna prove it, you can come prove it anytime. Hit up Jason House. He's my manager. You know what I'm saying? Set it up. I want to fight 3 to 4 times this year. So, uh, and I'm not ranked. So, all these guys coming into off the contender series or, just got into the UFC or talking junk, we can settle it. You know what I mean? I'm not a big deal. I'm just the ultimate fighter. And you want to, you want to test out your mettle against the ultimate fighter. I'm here, baby. I'm ready for it.
So how do you see yourself taking out Tresean Gore?
When I fight Tresean, there's so many different things that can happen. There's so many different scenarios. Me and my team, we prepare for the best case scenarios if everything goes like exactly according to plan, as well as training for the worst case scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I come out and he just like lands a big combination right off the bat, and I got to fight back from something bad happening. You know what I mean? With that being said, I mean, my goal is what my goal always is. The first round is the qualifier round, and I got to see if you deserve to be in there with me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the first round is going to start off competitive, but as the round goes on, I'll begin to take over. And then in the second round, I'm going to go for the kill. You know what I'm saying? That's generally, like, if you look at my record on Tapology, you'll see all second round finishes. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been to a third round in a long, long time, and I don't plan on going to the third round in this fight either.
All right, a few more questions before I let you go. MMA fans, man, they could be some of the wildest, some of the most passionate at the same time. What do MMA fans obsess about too much that fighters don't care about?
Whew. Oh man, this dude, they obsess about a lot of stuff. What's weird is, like, I think there's like a lot of things that normal fighters obsess about is stuff that I don't obsess about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll tell you, right now a big one is fighter pay, right? Because I don't know, there's just like this sense of entitlement. You know what I'm saying? And the way I grew up, it wasn't I deserve this. It was, what, I want this, so I'm gonna go out and get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need everyone to get paid. You know what I'm saying? That sounds cold blooded. I just need me to get paid. You know what I'm saying? And all that requires is for me to go out and win and become a draw. You know what I'm saying? If I become a draw, I get paid. I get that much. You know what I mean? So I think that's a well, man, dude. Like, some people, I posted something on Twitter one day about Jake Paul not really caring about fighters and whatnot, and it blew my mind how passionate some people got. Just blowing, like, people were having full-blown arguments on there, like doing research, citing different websites with information. I was like, man, I don't got time to do all this, baby. You know what I mean? Like, but it's definitely interesting, man. I love the fans, man. Like, the good or the bad. Just like the fact that people are interested in me, like, whatsoever, is such a big change of pace from like this time last year. This time last year, I had like 3,000 followers on Instagram. No one cared about me. You know what I'm saying? I was surprised I got picked to be on the show, to be completely honest. So, maybe give me another year and I might be over all the fans. But for right now, I'll take it for better or for worse.
For sure. Fighting is filled with moments. Some of the highest highs, lowest lows. Some can be traumatic. PTSD in combat sports. Have you ever experienced this in your career or seen it around you affect anyone?
Like, serious PTSD,
Yeah,
or like just anything in general?
just anything in general.
Anything in general. I tell you what, me personally, anytime we're drilling head kicks, like my very, very first amateur fight, I fought at heavyweight and I got knocked out highlight reel style with the head kick. And anytime we drill head kicks, I feel like everyone in the room is looking at me because I got knocked out with a head kick. I mean, like no one cares about that anymore. But there was a long time where like I couldn't get past that. Like I won 8 straight amateur fights after that, and the only thing people every month would send me some random, Instagram page posting me getting knocked out. They'd be like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Yeah, like 2 years ago." You know what I mean? And so yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing is ending up a social media meme for me. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's like you said, it's fighting is the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows. You know what I'm saying? You're either on the good side of the highlight or the bad side of the highlight, and being the highlight is something that I never want to experience that again. That's probably the biggest thing I deal with personally. Like I know Impa Kasenga, we fought each other as amateurs, and seeing him become probably the biggest highlight in UFC history. That's like I'm like that blows because he's done so much, but unless he does something big, all people are ever going to remember him for is getting highlight reel KO'd, and that's probably the biggest thing I'm afraid of, or that comes back and haunts my dreams and whatnot.
But the thing about that is you and him both overcame it in the next fight, so it didn't last very long.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that because you're, someone who keeps up with everything. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you just got to deal with as a fighter. But, for people who don't, keep up with Impa and watch the prelims, they're not going to know that he bounced back in the next fight. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And hopefully he gets an opportunity to, really, display to the world how, what kind of fighter he really is. But, who knows if he'll ever get a chance like that again. So, that's the dangers of the highlights. You know what I'm saying? It's like that truly can be like a really big high or a really big low, depending on what side you're on.
Exactly. Okay, one last thing. Kevin Lee, when he signed with Eagle FC, they said that they will pay him in crypto. What is your thoughts on cryptocurrency, and would you ever agree to be paid in crypto?
Oh man. I mean, honestly, that's a tough one, man. I mean, because see, it's like I believe in crypto. I do. Like I can't lie. I believe in it. I think it's the way of the future. But one fight. I mean, especially in the spot that Kevin Lee's in, like he doesn't need cash that bad. You know what I'm saying? Crypto's probably just as good. Like, yeah, if I'm in Kevin Lee's position, absolutely. Like if they're paying me a bunch of money in crypto, throwing some NFTs, let's go, baby.
All right, it all depends on the situation then.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my next fight, no, you need to give me regular money. Maybe like 5 fights down the line, we could talk about throwing some people in there.
All right, sounds good. Well, hey, February 5th, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Bryan, appreciate you, man. Hopefully, we do a couple of these this year, and
Yes,
good luck
sir.
on the fight.
Thank you. You have a good one.